Hello there and welcome to Unqualified Opinions, and this is our Super Bowl 55 preview. I'm Marko Yerkovich. All right, so guys, let's just get right into it. This year's Super Bowl between the reigning champion Kansas City Chiefs, the first seed in the AFC, against the Tom Brady-led fifth seed from the NFC, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'll just throw it to you guys with some general thoughts, any matchups that are interesting, any storylines that you find fascinating. Tim?
I think the biggest thing for me is looking at how are these teams going to be healthy going into Super Bowl weekend. Obviously, both teams have been struggling with injuries. Tampa Bay Buccaneers more so than the Chiefs, especially with that secondary. I mean, you got Jordan Whitehead and Antoine Winfield Jr., both questionable. Antoine Winfield Jr. missed the Packers game 2 weeks ago. You could really just see the Buccaneers were not the same without both those guys, as Whitehead was injured during the game. If those players aren't playing Sunday, I'm not totally sure if they're going to be able to stop the Chiefs. I mean, they already had a tough time stopping them when they played them a few weeks ago, and Tyreek Hill had over 200 yards receiving in the first quarter. Like, what is going to happen if you're missing two of your starting safeties? I don't know what else to think.
I think Tim hit it on the head. Obviously, I'm big on common opponents, but I think what's even more important is the head-to-head matchups. And these two have already played in the exact same location that they're playing this Sunday. And, as you mentioned, Tyreek Hill putting up over 200 receiving yards in the first quarter. I think that'll be an interesting matchup, but I'm more interested to see the other side of the ball. I think the Chiefs dominate on all sides of the ball except for when it comes to pass defense. Their secondary has been not the best this season, and in their one true loss, Week 5 against the Oakland Raiders, that's how they lost, is they gave up the deep ball all day long. They put up 32 points on offense and still lost because they just couldn't stop their passing attack. I think Tampa Bay's got one of the best passing attacks and possibly the best receiving group in the NFL. I think that's going to be a challenge for the Chiefs and something to watch.
So obviously, there's a lot of great matchups and interesting things to look at going into this Super Bowl, but I think probably the most important or most interesting, I think, is the matchup between Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, the GOAT versus the kid, potentially the future GOAT. I mean, this is a matchup that you wished you could get. There's been plenty of great quarterbacks whose careers have barely overlapped or have been playing their entire careers at the same time but never got to meet in a Super Bowl. So this is one of the great quarterback Super Bowl matchups of all time, up there with like Montana, Marino, Elway, Montana, plenty of other great ones, Kurt Warner, Tom Brady, plenty of great quarterback Super Bowl matchups. What's interesting to look at here, obviously, this is Tom Brady's 10th Super Bowl, his first with the Buccaneers. I just want to ring off a list of things that Tom Brady owns record-wise in the Super Bowl. Most passing touchdowns, 18. Most passing yards, 2,800. Most passing completions, attempts, wins as a quarterback, obviously at 6. Most wins as a player all time, of course, that same amount. He has the most completions in a first half, most completions in a game, most pass attempts, most passing yards in a game, most appearances, and this list is ridiculously long, and there's plenty of other ones. And so what's the most fascinating thing to me here is Tom Brady is a Super Bowl veteran 10 times, and Patrick Mahomes just in his second of what will be many. And to see here that Patrick Mahomes, I mean, he has the one win last season, but it's a blank slate record-wise, obviously. But Tom Brady has a ridiculous amount of these records, and to finally see this matchup, I think, is the most fascinating storyline of the Super Bowl.
I'm going to, butt in a little bit. To me, hyping up Tom Brady, I think he's a great player. But I don't know if we all watched the same game 2 weeks ago, but Tom Brady looked awful. When you have really bad interceptions, I mean, he looked kind of like he had forgotten how to play quarterback to a certain degree when he would be just chucking up the ball to see if anybody would catch it when there was a blitz. There was a blitz off of the left side by a corner.
Well, obviously.
And he just threw the ball up and it was picked off, just like that throws like that usually do. And so although Tom Brady is a great quarterback and he has many accolades, he's not the same player as he was 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago. He has the best weapons he has had since Randy Moss. but he is still aging. He is still getting. He's not as good as he was. And honestly, I think this isn't even going to be close with the Chiefs offense versus the Buccaneers offense, because Brady has, he just didn't play that well 2 weeks ago. I don't know if
that's not even remotely the point I'm trying to make here. Obviously,
he has the experience.
Okay, but Tim, that's not even remotely the point. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes is far and away a better quarterback in every single regard at the moment than Tom Brady. But simply to look at just the number of accolades and the history of Tom Brady in the Super Bowl compared to this potential that Patrick Mahomes has, right? 3 straight AFC championship games, 2 straight Super Bowl appearances, potentially 2 straight Super Bowl wins. You're looking at a potential dynasty in the Kansas City Chiefs of the level or
I don't think
success.
This is a potential dynasty. This is a dynasty. You got Andy Reid. Honestly, I don't think there's really a whole lot of a talking point here. Much more to go on.
I still don't think you're understanding the point that's needed to be made here. It's just the historical reverence of this moment. The fact that an NFL player has made it to 10 Super Bowls, that's double more than any other person. And the fact that, you have the potential of seeing here a matchup of a guy that could one day equal all of these accolades and success and talent level. I think that's so fascinating.
Yeah, but look. I mean, you're talking about the history, and I understand that. But we're talking about 2021. This game, once again, I got to side with Tim. You look at the NFC Championship, Tom Brady threw 3 interceptions in that second half. I don't like anyone saying that he was responsible for winning that game, because truth be told, if the Packers would have won that game, he would have been responsible for losing that game.
Absolutely.
I mean, he kind of swung and missed in that second half.
Right. Obviously, the game itself. Right. But I was just kind of looking at the historical impact of this game, where it will belong in history, and what we'll look back at this game. Obviously, when you look at this game, Tom Brady is fledgling at the moment. I mean, yeah, one of those interceptions was a tip, but all of them were horrible reads and bad throws. And at the moment, this Kansas City offense is at a pace and a trajectory that we haven't really seen before, other than maybe what they were at last season. And really, this game lives and dies with how well Tampa Bay can stop the run. If they can make Patrick Mahomes throw into 7 and 8 man coverages, it really starts and stops with Tampa Bay's defensive line when you're looking at the game itself.
Well, and it might be a little bit biased, but I completely agree with you guys. One of the best offensive coaching staff in the league. And even if they make him one-dimensional, Patrick Mahomes can still go off for 500 passing yards, and it would just be another day at work.
To a certain degree, they have been one-dimensional throughout the season. I mean, if you look at how they're performing, look at their offense, they don't rely on the run a whole lot. I mean, they'll mix it in every once in a while, but for the most part, they are passing the ball fairly consistently because they can, because they have the guys that are open, because of the offense that they run. Guys are open every single play. I mean, you have the weapons of Sammy Watkins, Tyreek Hill. You've got the weapons of Travis Kelce. Why wouldn't you throw the ball 2 out of the 4 downs that you have? And so I think for that reason, even if the Bucs forced the Chiefs to pass the ball more, and even if they stop the run, I mean, that offense is even better in the pass, significantly better in the pass. And I think you would want the Chiefs to run more than they pass, honestly.
All right, so with that, I just want to really quickly move into the picks before we discuss some other things about the game. Will isn't here right now, but he said he's going to pick the Kansas City Chiefs. I will also go with the Chiefs. Maybe I'd have a better outlook on this game if they would have more thoroughly defeated the Packers instead of letting them hang around and Tom Brady making a lot of horrible mistakes. But as far as the Chiefs, I mean, they are full steam ahead here into this game, just off their last 2 postseason performances. I'll take the Chiefs by about 10.
If we look back to when they played during the regular season, obviously it was a close game, 27-24, but the Chiefs really let off the gas pedal and let Tampa Bay sneak back in. And with the injuries that Tampa Bay currently has, even if they have the players that are injured right now, even if they're healthy on Sunday, I still think it's at least a 10-point game. I think I'm going to go with Chiefs by 14. I don't really think it's going to be close. I think right out of the gate, it's going to be the Chiefs all the way.
Well, I think we could see the Chiefs fall behind, similar to the AFC Championship, maybe a muffed punt or something. I only see this game being close if it was similar to their other matchup, where the Chiefs let off the gas pedal towards the end. Maybe they have to come back, or maybe Brady tries one last comeback in the fourth quarter. But quite honestly, I think they could run away with it. I'm going to go Chiefs 34, Tampa 26.
I think an interesting point to make that you kind of mentioned in your pick, Paul, is Kansas City has a propensity to fall behind, and Tom Brady historically is a clutch player. He has 6 Super Bowl wins, all of them coming on his record 6 Super Bowl winning drives. Every single Super Bowl except for the Rams one, where they won by 10, win or lose, has been by a single possession. So historically, and again, I know that's the Patriots versus now the Buccaneers, but every Super Bowl Tom Brady's played in has come down to the wire and been close. So there's always a potential. But what, to you, Paul, are some things that need to occur for Tampa Bay to somehow win this game or to keep it close?
Well, I hate to throw it out there, but it's a factor, injuries. And if it happens early in the game, we could be seeing Chad Henne throwing the ball in the second quarter. And for a Chiefs fan, that's kind of scary. But you got to look at all the potentials. I don't see him as the only, factor in this game. But it's a big enough factor that if it was a close game,
he's certainly
that
the
would
largest
be the difference.
factor. Absolutely. I think there's a number of factors. Obviously, the Chiefs' propensity to have a slow start, and then compound that with if Tampa Bay can get their run game going and eat clock and be up by a possession or two and really shorten the length of the game. Obviously, we know that Patrick Mahomes can put together a 90-yard or 90-second, 75-yard drive, or some ridiculous quick scoring touchdown like that. But I think those two things are part of a potential.
And I'll say, like I said earlier, the Chiefs secondary is probably their weakest link. I don't think they're nearly as good as the Packers secondary, and we saw what happened to them 2 weeks ago.
A lot of the hiccups that we saw out of the Packers when they played the Bucs were from the schemes that were being played by defensive coordinator Mike Pettin. Me as a Packers fan,
since been let go, right?
Yes, that is correct. And there is no reason why a player like Kevin King should be one-on-one with Scotty Miller with 8 seconds left in the second quarter.
Tim, I have a question.
Yes.
Do you have some level of emotional?
Oh no, not at all.
Are you emotionally vested in this?
There's
There's some passion in your voice.
Yes, there is passion. It's the same passion that you had when you were talking about Tom Brady. So I think the point here is, I think the Chiefs have a better defensive coordinator than the Packers do, and if they scheme better than the Packers did, I wouldn't have to worry. I wouldn't be worried as much if I was a Chiefs fan. Even though the Packers secondary, I do believe, is better than the Chiefs secondary, I think the scheming and the defensive coordinator preparation will be better than the Packers had. And so with that being said, I think the Chiefs obviously are the favorite. Tom Brady is Tom Brady, and he can do just about anything and really flip a switch, especially with this offense. But we'll see. It's going to be an entertaining game for sure, and I'm excited for this Sunday.
Okay, so I'll leave us with maybe one final thought here. I see this game going 2 ways result-wise. I think both of those end in a Chiefs victory more than likely. One of them is an absolute blowout. Breakaway touchdowns, turnovers from Tom Brady, fumbles from the running backs, and the Chiefs win this by an egregious amount, and they're up early, and it's a vicious win from the Chiefs. And the other outcome is this is just completely back and forth the whole time, and even though Tom Brady is the clutchest player in the history of the Super Bowl, he's not the clutchest player in this Super Bowl. And if it comes down to the wire and given the opportunity, Patrick Mahomes can and will win this game for the Chiefs in any way possible. I think he's just that good. But all picking the Chiefs and all pretty easily picking the Chiefs. So that is pretty much it for our Super Bowl 55 preview. I was Marko Yerkovich, joined by Paul Hires and Tim Seipel. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave your own unqualified opinions in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and enjoy the Super Bowl.